Hi, I'm Matt, and let's get spooky. So today we're going to be talking about the 1988 film Killer Klowns from Outer Space, written and directed by the Chiodo brothers. As the title states, the movie is about killer clowns from outer space, who, as Paul so eloquently put it, are
just cruising through the galaxy and stopped here for a bite to eat.
So if you haven't seen the movie yet, I suggest you pause this video, go watch it, then come back and we'll talk about it. Or if you just want me to ruin the movie for you, that's cool too. So the movie starts out with our protagonists, Debbie and Mike, and trying to get freaky at the top of the world, which is a lover's lane type place in the town of Crescent Cove. So the comic relief characters Paul and Rich come in with their ice cream truck, establishing to the viewer that they are the comic relief characters and that they have an ice cream truck. But the people at the top of the world don't take too kindly to getting cock-blocked, so they tell Paul and Rich to F off. And with our comic relief characters out of the picture, Mike continues putting the moves on Debbie. But his plans are put on hold once again when they see what they believe to be a shooting star flying across the sky and crashing into the woods near them. And with standard horror movie logic, if you see something out of the ordinary, it's best to go investigate. Better not take any chances. But they aren't the only ones checking out this meteor crash. Old Farmer Green goes to check it out with his trusty dog, but he doesn't find a meteor crash site. He finds a big circus tent in the middle of the woods. He doesn't seem too off-put by it either. Actually seems kind of excited. He tries to find the ticket booth and all that, and it isn't until his dog goes missing that he starts to think that something's strange. Too little too late for Farmer Green, and the clowns get him. While this is going on, we meet our other characters, the policemen Dave and Mooney. Mooney brings in two punks who are drinking wine in public. He starts roughing them up. Then good guy Dave comes and tells him to knock that crap off, since we've already established who's the good guy and bad guy here. Anything else would be excessive. What about Mike and Debbie? Well, they're on their way to check out that meteor, which isn't really a meteor, but an alien spaceship. They find the spaceship and go inside like a normal person would, and start playing with the buttons. Then they get sucked into the elevator, because why not? They find the engine room that is definitely an engine room and not just a drawing of one. And then they come to the cotton candy cocoon holding bay. Mike tears off a piece of cotton candy, revealing some guy's bloody face. Gross. But they can't freak out for too long because our friend Mr. Killer Clown sees them and tries to put an end to their shenanigans and chases them through the ship, shooting popcorn at them along the way. Mike and Deb escape, but another clown makes a balloon animal that acts like a real dog, sniffing, barking, being all cute and stuff, making me want to snuggle it. That actually doesn't seem too hard, but I can do that. Let me try this out. So Mike and Deb get in their car and run over one of the clowns, but that doesn't work because he just gets up Michael Myers style. And the clown crew marches on to Crescent Cove, hopefully to help out in the bake sale, but probably to do some murdering. So Mike and Deb try to tell the police their story. And of course, Mooney's a dick, doesn't believe him. Good cop Dave is skeptical, but he helps him, and he ends up coming around. So in the next half hour, 45 minutes or so, the clowns take the town. They wrap people up in cotton candy cocoons and suck them up with a giant vacuum cleaner vehicle. They kill Mooney and turn him into a dummy, despite him saying that he's not going to be made into a dummy.
Go ahead, Dave. Make a dummy out of yourself. But you're not going to make a dummy out of me.
It's kind of a dick move, if I'm being honest. And then, just when you think things can't get any worse, the clowns break into Debbie's house and kidnap her, putting her inside a large balloon. Mike witnesses it, and he isn't having any of that. So Mike, along with Paul, Rich, and Dave, follow the clowns to their new hideout, in an amusement park of all places.
Great! All right!
Once inside, it's not off to a good start.
Rich and Paul fall into a ball pit. Mike and Dave find Debbie but get chased by clowns, and they think it's all over for them. The clowns have them surrounded with baseball bats and clubs in hand, ready to do some murdering. Is there anything that can save our heroes? Of course there is. What are you, frickin' idiot? Deus Ex Machina, Rich and Paul come bursting through the wall with their ice cream truck.
What were they up to this whole time? Keep this in mind, because we're going to be coming back to this. So Rich and Paul start yelling over the truck's loudspeaker, which makes the clowns disperse. But just when they think everything is fine and dandy, Clownzilla comes down and starts effing everything up. Blows up the ice cream truck with Rich and Paul inside, and all around is being a real dick. Mike and Deb escape the spaceship, leaving Dave behind to fight Clownzilla. So the spaceship takes off, and Dave kills Clownzilla. So then Paul, Rich, and Dave all fall from the sky, safe and sound inside a clown car. And that is Killer Klowns from Outer Space. But let's back it up a bit, and let's talk about a few scenes that really stand out to me. So earlier in the film, the smallest of the Killer Klowns runs into some bikers who are looking for nothing but trouble. One of them starts bullying the little clown and asks him if he can ride his bike.
Can I take a ride, pal?
The clown informs him that he can't, so then the biker proceeds to destroy the clown's bike, making the little clown cry as the other bikers laugh at him.
I like this scene in particular because it almost makes you feel bad for the clown. You just really want this little guy to F up the biker and deliver some justice. But then the little clown leaps into the air and lands, now sporting a pair of boxing gloves, looking to fight.
Where'd it go?
It's pretty adorable, I have to admit. Hell, I'd let that little guy punch me.
But before you can even get out your first awe, the little clown takes a swipe at the biker and knocks his head clean off.
It's a really fun scene that sticks with me. Setting it up to be on the side of the clown and ending with a pretty satisfying kill. I feel weird admitting it, but I like it. Another scene that sticks out to me is a scene at Big Top Burger. This to me is the darkest part of the entire film, and it's shot in such a spectacular and creepy way.
The scene opens with the family at the restaurant, casually having a meal, and the little girl of the family looks up and sees a large clown watching her menacingly through the door. He plays peekaboo with her, and she reciprocates as he tries to lure her away. The sound cuts out as it shows the family at the table, but the camera pans over, revealing an empty chair. Then we see the clown again, still luring the girl away from her family, as the camera pans over behind the clown, revealing the large mallet behind his back. Thankfully for the girl's sake, her mother comes up from behind her, taking her back to the table, saving the girl's life and pissing off the clown something awful.
Back here, young lady. You're not going anywhere till you finish your food.
This scene reminds me so much of the part in It with Pennywise and Georgie. A monster that resembles a clown, luring a child away from safety so it can feast upon it. Whether It had any inspiration behind this scene, I don't know. Mind you, this film was released 2 years before the 1990 It miniseries and 2 years after the 1986 It book. And finally, this last scene I want to talk about isn't really my favorite scene, but it's a scene that's just glossed over that we need to discuss. So Rich and Paul's motivation to do anything in the movie is to get laid. They buy an ice cream truck to hopefully get laid, and they accompany Mike on his quest hoping to get laid after Mike tells them that Debbie has roommates that have big tits. So remember that ball pit from earlier that Rich and Paul fell into? Well, they're met by two female clowns with ridiculously large breasts. Paul laughs and asks them if they're Debbie's roommates.
Are you Debbie's roommate?
So then we cut to after Rich and Paul crash through the wall in their ice cream truck. Their clothes are torn to shreds and they were completely covered in lipstick kiss marks.
Are we just gonna let that slide by? Are my boys Rich and Paul clapping some clown cheeks? I'd like to think they were. But it's those little things that make this movie such a cult classic. It's cheesy as hell, the acting is terrible.
Hey, what are you guys trying to pull here?
But that's just what gives it its charm. It's something that not many movies have, yet comparing it to other movies would be doing it a disservice. It's something that has to be viewed on its own, enjoyed on its own, loved on its own. Like I've been doing ever since that rainy day back in 1993 when I came home from kindergarten, turned on my TV, and saw a movie about
Killer clowns from outer space.